Sup my little pulselings, how's it going? Hope all is well in your world. If you like the video, subscribe and you'll be notified when another one's up. Sup pulsers, how's it going? Thank you for joining me today. We are looking at Exofactory. This is a factory building game. Look at that one eye. There's no music on this starting screen. That's fine, this is just a demo for them to get some feedbacks. We're doing 3840. You can go down to 1920 1080. And you can go down a little bit more if you really want to. I'm going to leave most of this stuff alone because it can be a bit iffy if you start messing around with this too much. Like I said, it is a demo. This is a cool little factory game. You're kind of like Wally, but instead of having to clean up the whole planet, you've got to just get a little factory up and running. It's got some nice stuff going on. So I'm going to leave all the audio in that as it is. We've got controls. I'm going to be using a controller, even though that's not on there, until you click over here, which still has the mouse sensor in that. But there you go. So I'm going to leave on auto for that. Should be fine. Yeah, I'm using a controller because those you don't know, I have issues with my hands. Now, there is a lady robot who will talk to you through what you're doing. I'm going to shut up when she's going because you can't skip it. And it gives you kind of an idea of what you are. You're the sentient robotic mind on the planet kind of thing. It's got some cool stuff. Let's go.
I am alone here and things are not as they should be. What is going on? Who am I even talking to? Something is very wrong. Starting self-reflection. My mental faculties are intact, although degraded. Something is quite wrong. Actually, the more I look, the more I see that quite a bit is quite wrong. I need to understand what is going on. Okay, I looked at my logs and it has been 1,046 years since I have heard from humanity. That is not good. I was supposed to take possession of this planet from my predecessor mind, that predecessor mind being responsible for the initial terraforming of this world. But that mind did not wake me up. Furthermore, no emergency wake-up signals have been received. Then who did wake me up? Why am I awake at all? Okay, let's try not to think about existential stuff yet. Let's keep calm and focus on the practical. So the practical situation is that the sensor meshnet seems to be online, even if that network only consists of a single node. Fusing the information gathered by my collection of sensors, I can get a sort of global view. That's a good practical thing too. In this sensor-fused global view, I can modify my perspective using the standard controls I know. This should be helpful, like really helpful. I'm getting a sense of what's around me now. That's progress. I'll focus on exactly what practical things I have to work with here. I'll center the focus point on my core and interact with it. After I do that, I can think of what to do next. To the left, there is a guide on how to interact. Why is that even there? No idea.
Zoom in, zoom out. Now this has a nice, I think it's a nice distance. You can kind of see the gridding on the floor, which is fine. Now these little areas here are different resources. That's iron, I think that one's zinc. Down there is copper. And that's what you make the plastic stuff out of. So for the basis of the game, yeah, I say it's got what it needs. So we're going to build a copper smelter to make copper ingots, iron ingots, zinc ingots, as well as make bioplastic from, I think that's coal. Can't remember what they called it. Once that's up and running, that's pretty much the demo. It's nice, short, sweet, but it's messing around with stuff is a lot of fun.
Okay, I know visualizing functionality isn't too normal, but I find it comforting. And looking at what functionality there is, it looks like I'll need all the comfort I can get. What I can do is disassemble lesser used parts of myself to gain just enough to put together a little external frame I can occupy. The important thing is to not dwell on the fact that I disassembled lesser used parts of myself. If humans can take out lesser used parts, so can I. The little guy won't be too capable, but it's better than nothing. Better than dying in a box in the desert. At least there's hope now. I'll make an exoframe and think of what to do next. I just need to remember to stay focused on my core visualization when making things manually. Cores were never meant to make anything, so I need to make sure I misuse the systems properly.
Now with this little robot. For some reason the camera's quite high compared to what it was, but there you go. So if you go over here, you've got zinc. I need this one and copper to make the basic stuff that I will need. Takes a little while. Right, then we run it over to our starting area. We've got a little jump as well, look. So you can get over the conveyor belts. That's pretty nice. Right, so we've got iron over here. Now, this is the only problem with this. Sometimes it gets stuck on part of the story. So you got to wait for it to unstick itself. So I go around and get some copper as well, as I know I need that. And it should unstick the game.
Now that I can move around in the real world, I need to think of what is next. Well, I can't keep tearing myself apart, that's for sure, and I was sent to industrialize this world. I could start by finding resources and building up some infrastructure. I'm not doing it because I was programmed to. I am doing it because I want to. Wait, do I want to build infrastructure because I was programmed to? There are too many pressing, more important things. I cannot spend time worrying about this.
No, we
Not yet,
cannot.
at least. Regardless of the state of free will, and if I have it in a deterministic universe, I need to mine some ore. I imagine that I should have some sort of ore scanning system, and I suspect a more developed version of me would. But for now, I don't. I'll have to look around the ground for rocks like a meat-based intelligence. I imagine a meat-based intelligence would like to collect rocks as a hobby. Feels weird to me, but everyone has to find their muse somewhere. I'll just focus on finding a rock somewhere and gather some ore. It may not look like it, but the exoframe is an adequate mining machine. Okay, now that I have some ore, I realize that I need to be able to process it. Let me think. Oh, I have some designs somewhere deep in my memories that I could use. Let's unearth them. Done. It took a little bit of the DD rescue subsystem, but I think I got them. I found a bunch of other interesting stuff. I now have the ability to build mining machines, furnaces, and the belts to connect everything.
Yay!
While occupying an exoframe, we can build these things now and finally put an end to this manual mining. Copper ore means copper ingots are on the table now. I'm looking forward to creating some wires. Know what I don't like? Rust. And zinc lets us prevent that on the cheap. Iron ore is exciting. It's the basis of most of what I can make. Now that I have basalt ore, I can start creating discrete by hand or in the furnace.
Right, are we done? Well, I need 4 structure and 2 low power wires. Right, so I have got that. Let's lift you out, so I can build the first mining machine. I would suggest you going straight to the iron. All your structural buildings come from this iron. Because I went for the copper first, and it takes a little bit longer. Triangle at the end is where your items are going to come out.
Ore is fun to think about, but it isn't really inherently that useful. But with a furnace, it becomes very useful. Now that I looked, I see a design for one in the deep archives. I can build one now.
Well, I need 2 iron ingots, 2 copper ingots. Right. Open up the menu. Right, I need 2 iron ingots.
With iron ingots, I can roll out structural iron. This is the beginning of a beautiful relationship. For real though, I think I'm going to use a ton of the stuff.
Yes,
I
you
must
will.
not forget that I need to move the things I make out of the core inventory and into the exoframe inventory. If I don't, I won't be able to build anything. I can only build with what is in the exoframe inventory. Copper ingots and storage, I can start making low power wire to hook everything together.
There we go. Put a little conveyor belt in. Furnace. That's the one I want.
Now that I have a furnace, I can route ore into the input with belts. From there, I get the ore out of the other side. Like most buildings, I will need to interact with it to configure it properly. I can't just consume ingots and the like, I need to use them. Now I can to the fabricator. Okay, I can configure what is made in the furnace by selecting the production mode tab.
There you go. I just turn it to automatically make iron ingots. Let me see if I can do something about sound. No, I can't use it. Screen? That's kind of annoying. That is really loud in my headphones. I should have that in my inventory now. So I haven't got to constantly go over there for that. Right. Yes, I do. Well, I will need... What do I need for that next device? I'll also need belts. No, I need a merge storage. So I need 2 of those and 2 of those. 2 of these.
With structural iron on hand, I can start turning out screws. I am sure these won't get annoying to manage.
And 2 of those. Split storage, that's what I want. Right, 2 of those low power wires. Right. It takes 2 just to make 1. Oh.
Low power wire is what makes the electrons go round, at least the low power data and signaling electrons. Given that robotics are like 20% low power wire, it's nice to know I will have it at scale soon.
How much of a mining machine put on here? Only 2 and 2. Okay, right. While it collects, in this area I cannot change the volume of the mining equipment. Sorry about that, guys. But that's what happens sometimes with demos and playtests. I don't always have everything in there I should do. Right, so let's grab a whole bunch of the copper. Go and build a couple of wires, and I'll build a mining thing and a smelter here first. That way I can just grab the ingots. I haven't got to keep coming back and rebuilding it. We have completed smelter 1 and smelter 2. Now, this machine allows you to turn one object into another object. So the first one I suggest you build will be for this smelter, because this will allow you to keep building the bars they use to make pretty much everything in the game, which are the structural iron. So what I'm going to do, right, is a splitter storage. So I'm going to put that So no, I mean, it's hard to tell. Always bounce for that. Right, I'm gonna put that here. Oh, is that right? Or is that off? Now, the reason I'm putting that here is so it splits these bars. Because I want the first one to make a couple of bars that don't really go anywhere. So how far away is that from that? Right, cool, we've got a decent distance. How many more have we got? 21.
Almost didn't get this one. The data was lost, but I recovered it. The sensor post is something that I can build now. I don't have enough data to reconstruct it fully, but I have the essence. Okay. The sensor post expands my mesh network greatly. Once I build it, I can move my virtual perspective into its sensing range, even if there are no buildings to extend the sensor mesh.
So this one is going to build more bars here in case I ever need iron bars. Whereas this other one is going to go into this no, fabricator. Ah, wrong button. Keep pushing wrong one.
I now have a fabricator. This means I can automate the basics. Yay, less handcrafting.
That's right. I'm going to put one here so I can see what comes out.
Like the furnace, I can configure what is made by selecting the production mode tab.
So this one is just going to make just going to be making those guys. This will fill up every single one of those slots with those bars, so I don't have to go back and build some more. Smelter feeding into the first splitter, which then gets fed up here, which then goes into the first fabricator, which is making screws, and this one, which is making the structural equipment we will need for pretty much everything. And that will allow me to make, for that one, the exact same process. Now, the reason I keep this one here is because the iron bars go through so fast, you won't be able to collect them. What you can do is build off this. I'm going to flip that one. Put that one up. The building in this can be a little bit sticky, but that's fine. And you put in another merge, split. You've got less parts. So what it's going to do is feed in all the bars into this section. So you've got an infinite amount of bars, and you've got the two products being used. So if you ever need to come back for bars, you can grab it straight out of here, because this will fill up every single one of those areas as well. It just constantly fill up with bars. It takes a little while because you're splitting them amongst two different things, but that's fine, but it will fill up. In fact, I'm going to put those in there because I don't need them right now. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the copper one. And then this zinc one. So they'll all be making the bars, and then all we've got to do is going to do the same thing for the plastic. And it should give me the option to upgrade my machine. So if we come over to here, we had the bars being built. And like I said, it takes a little while because you're splitting it between two. But if you're leaving this going and you're not doing anything else, it's just going to keep doing it over and over again until it completely fills up and everything. And when that bottom one does fill up, it will only come through this bottom one, so it'll speed up the process even quicker. Right, so I'm just going to jump, do that for this one and the zinc one as well. I never know how much to cut out of these parts, because I don't know if people want to watch me slowly construct it all or not. But there you go. Got the zinc up and running. I'm not sure what this one produces. Yeah, it doesn't produce anything because we built everything. So maybe unlock something in the main game. I'm thinking you would. So again, I've got my collector for the excess bars at the side, which does the same as all that. So now I need to build this signal tower. Boom. That's going to help scan the planet, which is awesome. And I just need to build another miner, smelter, a system like that here, so I can produce the last resource. And that's pretty cool. So let's just tickety boo that along. See when it's done. So as you can see, once we've built our Warsack ore, we can use that to make the resin. We can then bring all over here. We can use zinc plus iron to make galvanized iron. We've made everything else that we can make in a demo and use that to make yourself another body. Yada. You make yourself another body, and that's the end of the demo. You made your tower, you made your body, you made all your mining. You're all sorted, really. That was Exofactory. What do I think of that game? Yeah, I think it shows you the very basics of the game. It's got some cool stuff going on. I would have liked a little bit more in it, to be honest, because it's only at the early stages, but I think it shows you quite a nice little mining operation. You build the miners, build the smelters, build the conveyors, turn them into the actual product. Very simple, very nice, very polished. Everything's pretty good. I liked it. But as always, it's not up to me. It's up to you to do you. This has been Pulsebeetle. Thank you for your time. Have a good day. Keep the pulse. And remember. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see the next one, you can just subscribe and you'll be notified when it's up and running.